everyone, today we're doing some planting out. I've got a couple of things that are sort of random, some really pretty plants that I want to get in the ground. Some of them are about to start flowering, so they really do need to go in. Others are flowering already, but I just wanted to get them in the ground so that they get bedded in and started before the season properly starts. It's still spring, so we're still in April, but a lot of these things are really pretty in the coming months, and the sooner I can get things in the ground, the happier they're going to be. Now it's really warm weather at the moment, so we're going to have to water them, and I do need to remember to do that. If you're new to my channel, my name's Annette, and Richard and I garden here in South Buckinghamshire in the UK, and it's equivalent to a zone 8B/9A, and we are having the most glorious heat wave in April. It really is amazing. I can't believe I'm in short sleeves already. So today we're going to be moving around various different beds in the garden, and I'm just going to be slotting these plants in. I have got coming up a video where I'm going to be putting quite a lot of plants in one area, but this is just sort of going to be all over the garden, even the front garden. So you're going to get to see quite a lot of the garden. If you're new to my channel, what I do in my videos is I put the name up on the screen, and a picture. If the plant isn't flowering at the moment, I'll put a picture up of what it should look like when it starts flowering. So you get a lot of information, and hopefully that may give you some inspiration for things you might want to plant in the future. Anyway, let's get cracking with the planting. The first thing we're planting today are some campanula or bellflowers, and they're called Champion 2. And I've got some pink ones and some white ones, and I started these from seed, and I have noted down the date that I started them and when they germinated, because quite often people ask. So they were sown on the 29th of January this year, 2025, and they germinated. The rose ones germinated on the 18th of February and the white ones germinated on the 16th of February. I have no idea whether they were two days apart, but they were. Now I did put these on heat mats, and they were in my seed starting room underneath grow lights. Anyway, I'll show you what they look like today. So this is how they're looking today. Some are a little bit taller than others, but I do think that they're about to start flowering. Now I did look up whether I was supposed to pinch these, and it says that they grow new stems from the base and not to pinch them. So I haven't pinched them, even though I'm tempted because I want them to start branching, but I guess we don't pinch these Companula. So the Champion variety tend to be grown as annuals, and they are brilliant because they will flower the first year from seed. So I sowed them in 2025 and they're going to flower this year. So they're not biennials, they're annuals, which is really fantastic. So these Companula have really big flowers. They've got loads, they send up loads of stems, and then they have really large bell-shaped flowers on the end of them. They flower between sort of May and August, and if you keep cutting them or deadheading them, they're great cut flowers. So if you keep cutting them, it will encourage more stems and more blooms. They really are a fantastic plant. They're quite easy to sow, quite easy to start from seed, and then you get flowers in your first year. So what I'm going to be doing by this enormous rose arch is I'm going to be putting two of the pink ones. So I've only got two pink ones. Having said they're easy, I have two pink ones and I have 5 white ones. So the pink ones I'm going to plant near the roses. So I've got a Claire Austin here, and I think they'll look really pretty with the Claire Austin rose. They like full sun to part shade. And then the 5 white ones I'm going to plant over in the Queen of Sweden border, because I think they're going to complement those pale pink roses really nicely. The next thing we're planting today is a phlox. So this is a Phlox subulata, which means it's a carpet phlox or a creeping phlox. Basically it's great ground cover, and this one is called, what is this one called? It's called Red Eye. This one is called Red Eye. So it's got white flowers. Let me get that to focus. So it has white flowers with a lovely red eye, and it's got loads and loads of buds. So these flower between April and May, and this one is just about to pop into flower. So I really do want it in the border before it starts flowering so that we can enjoy it this year. Now this is a perennial, it's going to come back every year. And I've got 2 plants this size. If we can divide them, then I'm going to divide them. We've got some blue ones in the front garden that are looking spectacular right at this moment. I'll pop a video up on the screen so you can see what they look like. So I'm very excited to get these in. I think they're going to look gorgeous beneath the viburnum that we've got here that's just finished flowering, and I think they're going to complement the white peony that we've got there at the moment too. They'll get about 15 centimetres tall and then significantly wider, so they'll be about 50 centimetres wide, so nearly 2 foot wide. They really do spread out beautifully. We're down here now by the Queen of Sweden border and the grass border. So the grass border is behind me here, and this is a pergola that we put up I think last year, and it's got a gorgeous rose, a David Austin rose called Woollerton Old Hall on it, and another rose called Penny Lane. Woollerton Old Hall's got lovely very pale apricotty flowers. It's really beautiful. I also have two clematis that my son gave me called Guernsey Cream, and they're just coming into flower at the moment at the end of April. And when we planted out this pergola, we planted up a campanula called, it's a milky bellflower, and it's called Campanula Loddon Anna, and it has got loads of tall branching stems with clusters of flowers at the top that are sort of lilac-y pink, but they're very open, so they sort of they're much more open than ordinary bellflowers, so you can really see the starry shape and how pretty they are. But we've only got one plant that survived. Now I don't know whether that's because we've got loads of ground elder, but I planted three, only two survived. No, only one survived, two died. So we're going to plant some more of this campanula here. I've got 4 more plants, and I really would like to have like quite a large display of this gorgeous campanula. These are gorgeous anemones here called Mount Everest. They're so pretty. The Mount Everest anemones are quite big, and they are fully double, and then they've got this really soft, gentle sort of green eye in the centre. I think they're so pretty. I was all ready to sort of really dislike them when they were flowering in the autumn, but they're much prettier in the spring, so definitely recommend this one. It's gorgeous. And then this is the Guernsey Cream, and it's got this lovely sort of really gentle green stripe on it. It's very pretty. They're kind of a very, very pale creamy colour. And then I have got one that's open, but it's slightly moth-eaten because it's been open a little while. So this is the one that is more open. It's really pretty, but obviously something's been eating it. But as they get older, they lose the green stripe. And I think, in fact, the more sun they get, the less green stripe they have. So this is the only Campanula Loddon Anna that survived. I mean, maybe the foxgloves that have self-seeded here swamped them, I don't know, but you can see I've dotted around a couple of black pots, so we're going to pop 4 more in, hopefully get rid of the ground elder at the same time. It's going to flower between July and September, so once the Guernsey Cream has finished flowering and probably the roses have done their first flowering, we're then going to have this gorgeous lilac-y campanula, and I think the tall spires are going to be really gorgeous. So it grows to 1.5 meters tall, so is that nearly 5 foot? 1.5 meters tall by 60 wide, so it really is going to be a lovely cluster of these gorgeous bellflowers here. Behind me here is the Queen of Sweden border, and this is where I'm planting the Companula Champion 2 White, because as I said before, they're just going to look really cute and beautiful with the roses. I just love the Queen of Sweden roses. They're very upright, very soft pink, and I think the white's going to complement them beautifully. So we're going to pop them in here. at the bottom of the grass border now, and here we're going to be planting some Yarrow or achillea. This one is called Pretty Belinda, and it is a gorgeous bright pink, obviously flat-topped umbellifer type flower. They fade to a soft pink with age. They're going to grow to about 60 by 45. I'm planting a grouping of 3, and I think they're going to just add something to the front of the border here. And I'm planting them in amongst the tulips that are flowering at the moment, because they're a small enough plant that they're just going to sort of, the way the roots grow, they'll be able to intermingle with the bulbs. So they're not going to interfere with the bulbs at all. They'll sort of be like a harmonious couple. So I think planting the Yarrow in amongst the tulips will be absolutely fine. They're going to flower between June and September, and they like full sun to part shade, as with all achillea. So they're pretty much going to be in the sunshine all day, sort of until late afternoon. Then they'll get shade from a tree. So I think they're going to be really happy here, and they're absolutely loved by the bees and the butterflies. So I think it's just going to add another texture to the grass border. So rather than just having grasses, I'm going to have things that complement the grasses. We're on the patio now, and this border along the front here has a lot of sort of blues and pinks in it, a bit of white, and I really like to add more blue just to sort of, it's a very cool colour, and so in the really warm summer months when we're sitting out on the patio, it's nice to have whites and blues, I think anyway. And I'm planting another campanula. This one's called Ticon Blue. Now I know there's a lot of campanulas, but I have a very English cottage garden, and I love campanulas. They really are part of what makes an English cottage garden. This one is special though, because Ticon Blue has flowers that face upwards, so that's quite unusual for a bellflower. They're normally dangly bell shapes, but this one, they face upwards, and it's a lovely sort of lavender blue colour. It's very romantic, very soft. They grow to about 50 centimetres tall, 30 wide, so I'm planting 2 little groups of them, and I think they're going to look super pretty. And I have saved some of the Ticon Blue so that I can add them to the pots that go on the steps behind me. So we're going to have a continuation of the colour through to the containers in the summer. So I've got them planted very close to a hydrangea. We've got 2 of these hydrangeas here in this border. They're called Skyfall, and they're going to get to about 1.5 metres tall, and they're going to have huge plumes of white flowers. They're going to be conical shaped flowers. They're going to be gorgeous, and I think the Ticon Blue is going to look really pretty. They will flower all through the summer if we keep deadheading them and cutting them back as each bloom finishes. Don't leave them to set seed, and then they'll just keep flowering. So where I've chosen to plant these, they're kind of intermingled with some self-seeded Verbena bonariensis, which is gorgeous, but it's no good right at the front of a border. So I've asked Richard, while he's planted them, to just dig out the Verbena that's sitting there at the front of the border, and we're just going to plant them further at the back of the border, and they'll look really nice at the back. We're down at the bottom of the garden here, and in this bed over here where the tray is, we've got a Cornus controversa variegata, or the wedding cake tree, planted. It's only about 1 metre high at the moment. It's growing quite slowly, but at the base of it last year I planted out some saxifrage that had been in my tablescape, my spring tablescape on the patio, and I planted them out, but I think we just didn't keep them watered enough, or they got root rot, which are both things that can happen to saxifrage. So saxifrage is a lovely mat forming ground cover. It grows to sort of 10 centimetres high, 25 wide, and they kind of spread a little bit. But when you plant them out, they really do need watering consistently until they're established. But also, if you plant them in very soggy ground, they could get root rot. So I'm pretty sure it's because we didn't water them sufficiently. We didn't have the irrigation system on, and we probably just didn't come down here enough to water them. So hands up, I managed to kill some of those. There are a couple that are still alive, but I'm planting out some more today, and the variety that I've managed to get hold of this year is called Rockies White, which I really love because we love the Canadian Rockies in this family. So that appeals to me. And they're white flowers with a little bit of pink to them, and we're going to pop them into that bed there. So we're here in the front garden, and in this border, in fact this border behind me, we're going to plant some Erysimum Bolmove. Now this is a really well-known variety because it's got these gorgeous, rich, very fragrant flowers. It grows to about 80 centimetres tall, and it's going to flower throughout the summer, just continuously flower, especially if we deadhead it. They're great for cutting, they just look wonderful in a border, and I'm going to pop them into this border behind me. Now in this border we have Sceptred Isle, a lovely David Austin rose, and I think the purple and the pink are going to look wonderful together. So those really were some little bits and bobs that I wanted to get planted out. There were things that I'd sown this year and I needed to make sure that I got them in the ground before they flowered, and other things that we've had in the nursery for a little while. And then I was also replacing some plants that we managed to kill, which, you know, that happens to us gardeners anyway. I really hope that you've had some fun today as we planted these out. I'm lucky I had Richard to help me. He loves planting things, he's really good at it, and I love choosing plants and talking about them. Oh, there's Max behind me. Anyway, I hope you've had fun with us today, found it inspirational maybe and useful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.